I think there's a big misconception about time. It's hard because I like getting up early, but I think there's this classic idea that if you don't get up early, you're lazy. And I've had that built into my brain for a long time. If you don't get up at 6 a.m., you're not waking up, because my grandfather used to get up at like 5:30, 6 o'clock every day. So if I woke up at 9, 10, I've always kind of felt like, a little bit lazy, because he was like the old school, like builder, like construction, like you get up, like, the whistle blows, he eats at 12, he eats at 6 p.m. He eats at, it's like, that's when you eat. It's because the clock struck, so I'm going to eat. So that kind of regularity, I just don't literally,
But you don't need that.
literally have it. No, of course not.
That only works when you're like, you have a schedule that you have to follow. You don't need one. But
no,
like I said, if you block out the time,
for sure,
like, this is your time for fucking sleep.
Oh, but I get it. I make sure I get enough. I don't like burn it. I don't get like 3 hours anymore. Dude, remember when I started, I'll go to sleep super late. I'll go to sleep at 4, get up at 7. But that's because I still had clients and stuff. I don't do that anymore. So if I go to sleep late, I make sure I get my sleep. So that's the one thing that I do. But I've learned what's interesting is that I am super, 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 super creative late at night. So when I'm up late, I have amazing ideas. I have amazing, so that's what I do. I always feel like if I'm going to sleep super early that I'm missing some of that creativity, because I'm not as super sharp first thing in the morning. I'm not going to wake up and be like, cool, let me get all creative. I'll wake up and I'll go to the gym, which is great. I get it done early, but then I'm also, you're like, of course, you're wiped by the end of the day. So I think it's more about like what you're doing when you're awake, rather than like what time you get up. So as long as you're maximizing, especially with social media stuff, when you can, like, for me, like when you can make your own schedule for you, it's a little bit more.
Yeah, there's 24 hours in a day, dude. You don't need to fall. It doesn't have to be, I have to put in my work because the sun is up. It doesn't, especially when your work is on the computer. It's one thing if you're a construction worker or something, but you're not tied to any of that. As long as you're getting the sleep you need to keep you healthy and you're getting the work done, it doesn't matter the hour it's getting done.
Bro,
you're not tied down.
So many times I'm like taking a shower. It's like 6 a.m. and like the sun's coming up and I'm kind of like, and all of a sudden I'm just like, washing my face or something in the shower, standing there just kind of like, oh, I feel so good. I'm kind of like zoning out. And all of a sudden, holy shit, that's it. Cause I'll just think of something. There's like, and people are in the comments right now are saying all my best storylines pop into my head at 1, 2, 3 a.m. I just feel like, I don't know if it's like that, maybe that natural like drug release where you're kind of like, like tripping balls because it's late and you are really tired, you just don't recognize it. But then you have like that kind of, that idea.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
It's kind of like a comedian when you have like a joke, like, oh shit, I got to write it down, or a good idea. You write it down. Right. I'm like, oh fuck. And I come and I write it on the whiteboard. And sometimes the next day I'm like, the fuck was I thinking? Like, I have no idea what I was talking about. Sense. It makes no sense. I'm like, well, that wasn't worth it at all. But yeah, so it's interesting. I just don't have that natural, I don't know. I've tried forcing myself to get up at a certain time, but one night late, it throws off the whole thing. And it's just never been, I've always been a night person in that sense, just because it's easy to stay up late. Some people can really they get tired and they're like, oh, I can't stay up. I've never had that problem. So it always kept me on like an off schedule.
I know for me, I have to have 8 hours. I've tried, I can go 7 hours, but after the 4th day of having 7 hours, I'm done. I'm crashed. And I've learned that about myself. So I know I hate it because I almost wish that I had the ability to be completely recharged after 4 to 6 hours of sleep. Like I know a lot of people that are like that. I just know I'm not capable. Like I've tried it. It does not work. And I've tried it for like 2 or 3 weeks. And I just, well, do you remember when we worked at that place? I'm not even going to mention the name. We worked at that place.
We worked at the.
We were sleeping 4 or 5 hours a night because of our schedule.
You didn't do third shift though, did you? You didn't do like the middle shift, the afternoon?
But I had the shop, so I would leave.
Oh, fuck,
go to the shop,
dude. And then, I forgot about that shop. Holy shit!
So I was working 17-hour days. I was barely sleeping. And I started getting, I had alopecia. I had spots on my head, bald spots on my head.
My God, I remember that from the stress.
That was from that lack of sleep.
Yeah.
That was nothing more. So I've lived it. Like, bro, I need my 7 to 8 hours a night. And it helps that I have a kid. So my kid wakes up at 7 a.m. It don't matter. So like
That's
my sleep schedule is set
yeah,
for me. Like,
that's a whole different thing though, because you're up because like you're gonna take care of her, you're gonna make her breakfast, you're gonna get her to school and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't have that. So there's and when you start doing stuff yourself, and I'm looking at it more like a positive, like, oh, I have the luxury to adjust things. Like, don't take it as a negative. But I'm thinking about it from more in terms of health, because I love those days. Because when I get up at 5, I go to the gym, I come back, I'm fucking like a hyper animal at 7 or 8 in the morning. But at the same time, when I'm up late, like I get so much stuff done. And plus I like hanging out. There's something about being awake for me when people are asleep. I'm like just fucking grinding, hustling, doing stuff. I'm watching got a comedy show and I'm just like fucking around. I'm like, I don't have any responsibilities to anyone else. I'm just creating content. I'm editing a yoga video or I'm doing a fucking TikTok or doing an Instagram post or I don't know. I'm not I don't pressure myself. I think a lot of people in general put a lot of pressure on themselves to be like other people. And I'm realizing that mentality of, okay, I have to be, if I'm not up early, I feel lazy. For years, like, I'm like, oh, I slept till, 10. It's like, oh, I feel like I didn't get up early. I'm like, who am I comparing myself to? Like, this is not,
that's just your programming.
Not, exactly. But that's the thing. Everyone's programmed. And I think we don't, and that I've learned that from meditation and from just like introspection. Oh, I'm not really being lazy. I just feel that way. Why do I feel that way? Oh, because my entire life, my grandfather would be like, he wasn't like upset by it, but he was, when that generation, they were up early, period. That was like, just like programming from like the military and just from just growing up, like working as like a construction, like builder, like you're up early, you're like 6, 7, 8, you get your lunchbox, you go to work, you have the whistle blows at 12 and like,
Dude, anybody with a job, like that's how it is. That's how it was when I was working. Like I have to wake up at 7. I have to get ready for work. I have to be at work by 8, like.
I think it's also a rebelliousness about like the same jobs we had. Like, it's like, I don't want, I have a real, I noticed that too. I have a real issue with in a lot of situations. Like, that's why I don't have that daily schedule. And I'm realizing that. And I've realized that recently, that I don't have that daily schedule because it's like an aversion. It's like almost like a phobia to have like a schedule, like to do this at a certain time. It's like, oh my God, I got this at 5 o'clock because I'm just, I'm so scarred from having training appointments to having to be at a certain place. It's like, I don't want a schedule. I want it to be just fucking whatever I want. Like, oh, cool, I'll go here. Oh, cool, I'll go here. It helps. Yeah. So I've learned that I have like little bookmarks. Well, I'll do a yoga class at this time and this in the morning. So at least I have things that keep everything else regulated because I have to do this before that, X, Y, and Z. But yeah, it's weird. Yeah. Someone just mentioned the early bird catches the worm. I don't know, man. I catch the worm. I catch the worm before they go to sleep. I break in their house. I break in the worm's house at night and I fucking kidnap the worm.
I mean, hey, if you're a hunter, you can hunt in the morning or in the afternoon, right? Sunrise or sundown.
Dude, early bird's not getting that worm. I already got it. Ripped it out of its slumber. Fuck you, worm. Thanks for watching, fam. Make sure to subscribe to the Daily Swole podcast on YouTube so you can catch the live streams every single day.